Now somewhere up in here my dad's land ends. Maybe at the top of the mountain. Not sure. I guess I'll have to go to some plat drawing sometime to actually figure that all out. Let's turn around and look what's behind us. That's going back down the hill. Hope you're getting some sense of the color. My viewfinder here does not seem to be getting the color as it really is. Maybe I'm on auto white balance and should be on daylight. Let's switch modes and see what difference that makes. Right now I'm on auto white balance with a Canon camcorder. Let's go to daylight. Okay folks, does that bring things more into focus and color? This is what the colors really look like. I'm shooting in a, yeah, and it kind of, now what I'm seeing on the screen sort of matches what things really look like around here. So if you have a Canon camcorder, like an HFS 200 or 100, maybe when you're outside shooting on a day like this, you go to that daylight setting. It's what I should have been doing. The colors, I'm sure, like I say, what I'm seeing on my screen now, it matches up really nicely with what I'm seeing in reality here too. Like the sun peeping through. It's been a little overcast. The clouds blow up so fast here. You go from this gorgeous blue sky to like menacing skies pretty quick. A lot of times you get a lot of rain in the high Appalachian mountains as it comes, as the weather comes across the Tennessee Valley. And then over here up to it hits the mountains and it condenses. And so you get a ton of rain. It's almost rainforesty type up here sometimes. And it gets down to the Piedmont, or the foothills where I live. You don't get as much of it. It's like the moisture's sucked somewhat out of the air before it gets down that far. And the road just goes on and on, folks. I've walked at least probably 1.25 miles now. So I'm looking back down from whence I've came. And I'm here to tell you folks, this is a workout. If you had this kind of place to walk in all the time, you'd keep the pounds off. I am sweating it, but I'm loving it too. This is the kind of deal where I wish I had my GoPro Hero 3 with me. Could shoot this video a lot easier and give you a lot more sense of the area. You can't, this camera does not have the wide angle lens that you need to actually get a hold of what's around. Have to do a lot of panning. U.S. Boundary National Park Service. So here's the terminus of my dad's land. So above that is Park Service land. Belongs to the Parkway. So I guess up here at the top, or that's just actually there. I think I'm still on Dad's land at this point. Some big poplars in here. We'll go to the top of the hill and turn around. So things start to flatten out a little bit at the top of the ridge. Moving forward, and it looks like this maybe is the end of my dad's land, because here's where the old fence used to be. Yep. Somebody actually lives across over in there. We'll not bother them. Time to start back down the hill. What a great walk though. After you've eaten barbecue and potato salad, slaw, and a graduation cupcake. So this hopefully burned some of that off. As I walk back, I'm going to tell you a little bit about one of the things some people ask about is bears up here. There are bears. And you know, black bears, American black bears, which can be very violent. So I'm always kind of on the lookout for one. I have not personally seen one myself out walking in the woods before. I've probably walked right past them. I've seen their prints and stuff. I've seen them as I drive on the road. So I've never encountered one. My brother Tim said he was on top of what's called Three Knobs Ridge, which is an awesome trail, by the way. If you go to Deer Lick Gap Overlook on the Parkway, there's a trailhead there called the Three Knobs Trail. And you go across three knobs, kind of up and down, and then up and back down again. You end up close to Crabtree Meadows, Crabtree Falls area. highly recommend taking that trail sometime. But he said he was up there on that trail and just looking around enjoying the woods. And he said some bear comes just tearing like he didn't see him, or just comes running really hard through the woods. Saw my brother Tim. My brother Tim said he threw his hands up and yelled at it to kind of make it veer off. Said it came within 10, 12 feet of him. I think that would have terrified me. And there are very seldom but occasionally bobcats up here. Some people have claimed to have seen mountain lions. I've never seen a mountain lion. There are people that say they are actually up here. So if you do a Google search for mountain lions in western North Carolina, you'll find some people that say they've seen them before. There are deer. Now it's coyotes. I don't know how the coyotes got over here. I've heard some people say that maybe red wolves are making a return, but I've not seen any of those. But I have seen coyotes. And so they're becoming kind of a nuisance up here in this area. Lots of birds. Lots of birds of prey, raptors, hawks, of course vultures, occasionally an eagle. I've even seen an egret up here before in some of the ponds. You wouldn't think they'd kind of come up in these parts, but they do. Cool little area. Another thing I'll address is like people that think it's like Deliverance up here. No, it is not. It's not like that at all. Really some of the best people you'll ever meet. If you make a friend with them, they'll be your friend for life. If you make an enemy out of them, they'll probably be your enemy for life. But I'm not trying to characterize everybody, just the tendencies that I've seen. But yeah, it's strong family ties and all up here. And a lot of it's funny, I was at I was at Taylor's graduation today, and a lot of the names that I graduated with are still up here, the same names that you hear over and over again. The Buchanans and the Hollifields and the Hallmans and the Stewarts and geez, on and on and on, just all the various different sort of mountain Scott-Irish heritage families. Now this is here's some like honeysuckle. This is what we always called, a lot of people call them mountain laurels. They're actually rhododendrons, so those are rhododendrons. They grow wild all over the place. I mean, you can see one right over there too. And in June, early June, usually they blossom. Looks like these have already come and gone. So it might have been a little early this year. It might have been May when they burst out. Very pretty pink flowers. Then the smaller bush is what we call mountain laurel. And it's maybe related somewhat to the rhododendron. But those are the ones I shot some of earlier. It's an interesting tree. There's a lot of flint in the soil here. That's what you see, that white rock there. And so every time I see a lot of it, you can see it just all down on the ground here and there. I look around because the Indians used to make really nice arrowheads out of them. You'll see arrowheads sometimes just walking down these old roads like this. I've kind of been neglecting looking down. But I bet if I looked long enough, I would find an arrowhead here. The Indian tribes that were most indigenous to this area of western North Carolina were mostly Cherokee, I'm sure. Of course, the Cherokee, there's the whole Trail of Tears. You can look that up. One of the most probably sad things ever you'll read about. When the Indians were, the Cherokee tribes were sent away by the government. And now I'm married to a Native American. She's Tuscarora background. She's from way down east, which they were a very warlike tribe. So if you want to do something, another interesting reading, look up the Tuscarora Wars in North Carolina that happened back in I guess it was the 1700s, early 1700s. One of the most bloody, awful times in North Carolina history. The Tuscarora were very fierce people who, I'm sure they were probably done wrong by the early white settlers. And so it was more than just skirmishes. It was actually called one of the Indian Wars. And read about that. I might even put a link or something to a blog, one of my blogs and tell you a little bit about that, and maybe talk to Nikki at some point about that history. So I've made the return trip down the hill here. I'm back at Dad's upper meadow again. And then this little meadow here is really pretty down below. And we used to keep horses and cattle and stuff down in there too. And Crabtree Creek, the headwaters of it, go back up that way. That's Crabtree Creek running down below us. You can maybe hear it moving. Yeah, I think you can hear that. Gosh, it's pretty today. It is a pretty day in southern Appalachia. So this video today is for people that subscribe to me to watch my tutorial videos, or watch my music videos, or my gardening videos and things like that. If you care to know about where I'm from and what I'm kind of about, well then that's what this video is for. This is the place where I was raised, in Little Switzerland, North Carolina. And so I'm walking around on my dad's property today. It's like some hay's been cut down in here just recently. Boy, we used to have to bale hay. How many thousands and tens of thousands of bales of hay have I thrown in my life? Unbelievable. So here we are headed back toward my dad's house, and we'll soon be going by our fish pond, which my dad built actually. They dug that out and all when I was a kid. So here's the pond and all. The old barn's back over there. And we used to have this field all in Christmas trees as well when I was a kid. So that's my brother Tim. We'll go down and meet him. Yeah, so we used to swim in that. Have a big old hoot hollering time. Had a diving board there at one point, and down that corner.